1987. While everyone was playing Super Mario Bros., there was a game that already had realistic physics, open world, and artificial intelligence. But nobody knew about it. Today, I'm going to show you 10 games from the 80s that were so advanced that the world wasn't ready. Number 6 was banned in some countries, and you'll understand why. Hey there, nostalgic gamers and curious minds. I'm Carlos, and this channel is dedicated to rescuing the history of games that made their mark, and those that almost did. Before we start, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. Why? Because every week I bring you forgotten games, insane stories, and Easter eggs that nobody remembers anymore. And I want to know, which of these 10 games did you know? I bet at most 2. Comment at the end how many you'd heard of. Let's see who's old school here. Oh, and one of these games predicted the internet in 1985. Try to guess which one. Number 1, Elite, the game that invented the open universe. Look at this, 1984. Computer with 32 kilobytes of memory, and these guys made an entire universe with 2,000 explorable planets. How? While everyone was playing Pac-Man, Elite already had space trading, 3D combat, and dynamic economy. It's the grandfather of Skyrim, GTA, everything. Comment Elite if you're a veteran and played this, or Rocket if you have no idea what I'm talking about. Fun fact, Elite was one of the first games to use procedural geometry. They invented infinite worlds before the internet existed. Number 2, the Sentinel, the most disturbing game of the 80s. Imagine, you're on a giant board. There's a statue watching you. If it sees you, game over, and you can't even shoot it. This game had an atmosphere of psychological horror, 3D puzzles, and a minimalist soundtrack that made you paranoid. In 1986, you know that fear of being watched? The Sentinel turned that into game mechanics 40 years ago. Comment Sentinel if you played it and got traumatized, or I if this reminded you of some modern game. Number 3. The first jump scare in gaming history. Rescue on Fractalus was a normal space flight simulator, until it wasn't. You're rescuing pilots. Suddenly, an alien bangs on your ship's window. Out of nowhere. In 1984, this caused heart attacks. There are reports of parents suing the company because their kids broke the computer in fright. Seriously, it was way too controversial. Five Nights at Freddy's, Amnesia, Outlast, it all started here. The first jump scare in history. Comment scare if you knew this story, or scared if this would also make you jump out of your chair. Number 4, the space RPG that nobody remembers, but should. Starflight had space exploration, branching dialogues, moral decisions, multiple alien races, and a deep story. In 1986, but the game was so complex that most people gave up in the first hours. It was way too hardcore. You commanded a ship, recruited crew from different races, mined resources, negotiated with aliens. It was a complete galactic exploration simulator. How many here tried to play Starflight and gave up? Comment gave up without shame. This game was impossible. Or comment beat it if you're a liar. Number 5, the Metroidvania that nobody calls a Metroidvania. Below the Root came out before Metroid and Castlevania, and it already had nonlinear exploration, progressive abilities, interconnected world, and even moral choices. This game was based on a fantasy book trilogy. It was literally a literary game. It had narrative depth that today's AAA games don't have. Comment Metroidvania if you love this genre, or book if you didn't know it came from a book. And here's the irony. Below the Root was forgotten, but inspired everything that came after. Hollow Knight, Ori, Dead Cells, they all owe respect to this game. Comment Metroidvania if you love this genre, or book if you didn't know it came from a book. Number 6. The game that was banned for being too controversial. Raid over Moscow was a simulator where you invaded the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Right in the middle of the Cold War. The USSR hated this game. They considered it anti-Soviet propaganda. Some countries banned its sale. It was an international controversy. 1984. Reagan versus Gorbachev. Nuclear tension at its peak. And these guys release a game where you bomb Moscow. The courage of these developers. Comment controversial if you think games can go too far. Or joystick if you think art has no limits. I want to see the debate in the comments. Number 7. The game I promised would shock you. Habitat. The first MMO in history. And it predicted Second Life, The Sims Online, VR chat in 1985. You created an avatar, bought a virtual house, socialized, worked to earn virtual currency. It was the metaverse 35 years before the metaverse. And you know what's most insane? Habitat had a real economy. People traded virtual items for real money. NFTs in 1988. How many here played Club Penguin, Habbo Hotel, IMVU? Comment which one. But know this, it all started with Habitat. If you're a true gamer, you need to know this story. Comment MMO if you didn't know about Habitat. I'll make a complete video about Habitat if this video blows up. Number 8. Chess, but you fight the pieces in real-time combat. Archon took chess and turned it into a fighting game. When two pieces meet, you control them in battle. Tower versus knight, fight. Queen versus bishop, brawl. It was genius. And the creators balanced it perfectly. Pieces that were strong in chess were strong in combat. It was 300 IQ game mechanics. Comment chess if you play, or swords if you prefer fighting. Archon had both. Number 9. The Tamagotchi that was The Sims before The Sims. 1985. You turn on the computer and there's a person living in it. He walks, reads books, plays piano, has feelings. And the weirdest part, each copy of the game had a different character with unique name, appearance, and personality. Procedural AI in 1985. This game was so ahead of its time that people thought there was a real homunculus inside the computer. Some kids got scared. Comment Tamagotchi if you have one, or house if you played The Sims and didn't know it came from here. And to close with a golden key, number 10, the RPG that defined the genre. Dungeon Master had real-time combat, environmental puzzles, hunger and thirst system, fluid animations, and incredible 3D graphics. Elder Scrolls, Dark Souls, Legend of Grimrock, they all drank from this fountain. Dungeon Master is the godfather. And you know the secret? The developers optimized every pixel. It ran smoothly on computers that today couldn't power a calculator. Dungeon Master is playable to this day. There are browser versions. If you love RPGs, you need to try it. Comment RPG if you're a fan of the genre. Or tell me, how many of these 10 did you really know? Be honest. Quick recap for those who are lazy.